America's wealth is not its gold, is not its banking institutions. These are false institutions, that the entire money-structured and materialistic-oriented society is a false society. 10 or 15 years from now, our society will go down in history as the lowest development in man. We have the brains, the know-how, the technology, and the feasibility to build an entirely new civilization.
You believe?
We live in a dystopia. The status quo is no longer working. The systems that once served us are now the cause of our enslavement and malice. Only a paradigm shift can give us a line of flight from this downward spiral. In a universe of abundance, there are still people who suffer from hunger, and the reason behind that is the fact that other people are dying from too much consumption. There's a big problem in how we manage our resources. Only a monster who doesn't care about our well-being would let us die from either hunger or overconsumption. And the current world system is that monster. In this episode, we'll talk about this inhumane, monstrous system that imprisons us both materially and psychologically, and the paradigm shift that will bring life back to the world. The current world system is a fictional matrix of arbitrary rules that only funnel resources to a few players who can find a trick in the game and exploit everyone else. This built-in greed and selfishness of the current system is the source of all malice that we face as humanity on a daily basis. If we manage to put an end to the system and create a whole new matrix, all of the world problems caused by the current system will perish. This doesn't mean that we will live in a state like the Garden of Eden merely by throwing everything all at once, and that's just it. It's a process that takes a lot of work by hardworking technicians and creative geniuses. One of the most prominent thinkers who spent pretty much his entire life dedicated to solving the problem with the corrupt system of the current world order is Jacque Fresco, the founder of the Venus Project.
Socio-cyberneering is an approach, a restructuring of society in humanistic terms. This might represent an individual house. Most of the homes will be individually contoured. If you're an artist, you'll live in the kind of house that is most suitable to your areas of interest. If you're a technician, a musician, the house will be designed for your needs. Most of the houses will be self-generative. That is, the heat of the sun falls upon your roof and lowers the temperature on the inside of the house. The sunlight is scattered on the inner walls, in which you have a phosphor coating, and the room glows all evening with a soft glow without any electricity, without any power waste. That all the buildings will be earthquake-proof, fire-proof, termite-proof, and shock-resistant, in that they will rest on a particularly designed sand bay so that no direct shock can be transferred to the architecture. All of the world's music is housed in a central computer. You don't want records, tape recorders, all this junk that requires continuous maintenance. All you want is the music you like. You live in an insane culture where we duplicate things. It's
But you wouldn't need a set in the house to get the program.
No. All you need is an image screen.
An image screen?
An image screen, a flat screen built in on the wall. You don't have a set sticking out. You don't have tape recorders. All you have is the music you like.
Socio-cyberneering is a term coined by Jacque Fresco, a futurist and social engineer who founded the Venus Project, a nonprofit organization that advocates for a resource-based economy. Socio-cyberneering refers to the application of systems thinking and cybernetics to the design and management of a society. Basically, it's a paradigm shift in how we organize ourselves as humanity using advanced AI technology and highly developed smart machines. The goal of socio-cyberneering is to create a social system that is efficient, sustainable, and equitable, where resources are allocated based on the needs of people and the environment rather than the profit motive. The aim is to transcend the unnecessary limitations that hinder humanity from achieving our full potential and exploring the deeper meanings of existence. It involves the use of technology and scientific knowledge to design a system that can optimize the use of resources and eliminate waste. This vision sees the planet Earth as a closed system, a living being. That's why we call her Mother Earth. Many of the environmental problems that extend to social problems and even personal problems come from abusing Mother Earth and not respecting her. Socio-cyberneering also emphasizes the importance of education and cultural change in creating a new social system that aligns with nature and universal laws. According to Fresco, changing the current social paradigm requires a shift in values and attitudes towards cooperation, empathy, and sustainability. The main reason we cannot be truly cooperative, empathetic, and sustainable is because of the current world system that requires us to be selfish. Selfishness differs from individuality. The new paradigm shift favors individuality over narcissistic selfishness. This narcissism is ingrained in the politics and economics of the current world order, which is why overconsumption and narcissistic psychopathy are promoted as necessary evils and normal. Almost all people who make it to the top in such a system have to play unethical games at a certain point. Psychopaths thrive in this system because the system is psychopathic. The current politics and economics hinder us from reaching our full collective interest because they only perpetuate malice. We have to understand that with our current level of technological advancement, a post-scarcity society is not already achieved just because of the mindless monetary system at the center of the world's economy and politics. Overall, socio-cyberneering is a holistic approach to social engineering that aims to create a society where you can thrive as a divine individual and find your purpose in a peaceful manner with your loved ones. Instead of being caught up in the rat race of chasing after our collective destruction, the paradigm shift that is to come will open up a new horizon of what it truly means to be a human and live in such a world where machines do all the heavy lifting and the whole humanity is connected all over the globe. A whole new horizon of potential opens up for each and every one of us. And since it's all about finding peace and love, all our efforts to advance will be along these lines. The scientific research and art that will come from such a paradigm shift will be truly something to marvel at. When you get rid of all greed and sociopathy from the world, science, technology, and industry will also be positively impacted. Instead of playing the profit over everything game, the new paradigm shift favors value over everything. And value comes from being aligned materially and spiritually. Seeking profits is vampiric because it only requires more for satisfying a never-ending thirst. However, seeking value allows for abundance and lack of scarcity because value cannot be contained, unlike profits, which can easily be calculated in terms of money. The monetary system is also a big problem that this paradigm shift has to solve because it's only going to disaster after disaster, especially with the high inflation. The illusionary arbitrary system has proven to be ineffective in the long run. Change must take place. And it requires collaboration between experts in various fields, including science, technology, engineering, and social sciences to create this new paradigm shift. And all of us will have to unite in our shared respect for the gift of life and our Mother Earth, leaving all our differences behind. While this might seem far-fetched, just remember that all it took for the whole world to unite is a minor virus that's pretty much harmless compared to the mind viruses that this system is infecting us with. In 2020, the whole world united to battle a common enemy. Though many would say it was only a trick and a conspiracy, no one can deny that the whole world changed in a couple of years. What that means is that we can change for the better very quickly. That's why all of us have the intuition that a quantum jump is about to take place at any moment. And our hope and also duty is to quantum jump to a better world, a better reality for all of us. It's also a spiritual awakening because no one can deny that this greedy materialistic system isn't devoid of spirituality. Even religious institutions are plagued by this system and no longer fulfill their true spiritual purpose. We need to redefine our spiritual needs and use religion to fulfill such spiritual needs instead of being used by corrupt religious institutions that have nothing to do with spirituality. And since most humanity is now connected thanks to the internet, we have the potential to find spirituality in cyberspace. For example, the small community our channel has can be considered a tiny spiritual institution where we learn from each other and find spirituality by sharing our thoughts with one another. And it's all possible thanks to the current technology. Technology should always serve a higher purpose, not just making money. If you feel like the current reality isn't fulfilling your material and spiritual needs, no matter how much you try, it's time to think outside the box like Jacque Fresco and many of us. As for the Venus Project, as its name suggests, it's a project fueled with love. Venus is the Roman goddess of love. While such ideas that Jacque Fresco talks about seem too idealistic and too good to ever be true, everything done out of love can never be taken for granted. In other words, there's a lot to learn from the Venus Project. As always, share your positive vibes if you feel like it.
Our society is really comprised of very stupid men. Let me say it again. All politicians, all lawyers, all businessmen will be phased out. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to be a revolution. You don't need it. Our society cannot be maintained by this type of incompetency. Socio-cyberneering does not appeal to governments, to private enterprise. We're going to do this thing just as the automobile phased out the stagecoach, just as television stepped in and phased out the old vaudeville and the old motion pictures, that history and technology is respecters of no society, no individual opinions, but it moves on. And we've got to be prepared to face the future.